After playing The Division exclusively for about 18 months, I decided to move on to other games because of a lack of content and issues with the game. Now after a 6-month hiatus, I've come back to see if the hype from Update 1.8 and 1.8.1 make the game worth playing again. That's next. Hey, it's DeadSockPuppet here. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you're new, thank you for the view, and make sure that you click the blue puppet below to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Now let's jump into The Division and whether or not you should buy it or return to it in 2018. I started playing The Division in the beta, and I played both the open and closed beta. And as with most players, I really enjoyed the 1 to 30 leveling of characters and embraced the rich lore that Massive had told. The story was fantastic, great game, great background on what all happened. And while the end game wasn't necessarily that spectacular, and some say didn't even exist, since I only played about 8 to 10 hours a week and was slow to grind through the content, it basically extended the life of the game for me. So there were some issues with the game, but slowly Massive began developing programs like the ETF and PTS to help address those issues and bring the game back to the players. For the first 12 months or so, I really enjoyed the game, and then the crew that I played with slowly fell off to other games, other platforms, which basically left me to play solo. So I left the game right as Update 1.7 was launching, and while it sounded like there would be a lot of good changes coming, including commendations, global events, classified gear, I was just burned out on the game and looking for a change. Because matchmaking was often sketchy, I was often forced to play solo and was reduced to running LZ bosses, lesser HVTs, and daily missions, because the harder content like incursions, legendary missions, and the higher HVTs required coordinated groups to compete. The limited content available had caused me to grow bored of the game, and I moved on to play other games that had been on the back burner since starting the Division. Even after I stopped playing, I still would catch occasional info on the Division and how it was progressing. I heard that Update 1.8 brought the game to the best place it had ever been, and that 1.8.1 would refine it even further, and that Massive had officially announced that they were working on Division 2 and release more info on it at E3 2018. Taking all this in, I decided to re-download the game on my PS4, strap on my Shade Tech, and reactivate my agents. While I haven't experienced everything that has come from the updates 1.7, 1.8, and 1.8.1, what I have experienced has been fantastic. The new map, which includes the West Side Piers, brings challenging NPCs to the world, a new base in Camp Clinton, and access to the Intrepid aircraft carrier. The new PvP mode of Skirmish is a great 4v4 team deathmatch mode, and even though I'm not usually a PvP player, the time that I've spent in Skirmish has been very entertaining, and it's a great option for players that were itching for PvP or a true PvP from the DZ that just wasn't being scratched by Last Stand. The revamped Underground is exciting and challenging to play, and with the addition of survival hunters that can spawn randomly during the phases. The rooms have been redone and the rave room has been added into the mix, as well as the directives have been completely redone with 5 new directives that are a little bit more player friendly. If you're a fan of the Call of Duty Zombies mode, then you'll love Resistance, which is a multi-wave horde mode like Zombies, only with the various factions from the Division instead of zombies. The mode is set on the Intrepid, and players collect funds to unlock areas, ammo, and defenses throughout the carrier, similar to what players can do in Zombies. There's also a new optimization station which allows players to increase stats on their weapons and gear, which is a great option for a casual player like me that doesn't have a ton of time to grind for god-rolled gear. Some of the components that I haven't had a chance to play yet are the 2 new legendary missions, Amherst Apartment and Grand Central Station, which bring the total to 5 missions available on the legendary difficulty. I haven't seen a lot of classified gear sets yet, which are max rolled gear that allow players to go from having 4-piece set bonuses to 5 and 6-piece bonuses. And I also have yet to see a global event, which adds modifiers to the game and has specialized playlists which grant players classified gear as rewards. So my final thoughts are that while I left the game a solo player because there were only repetitive tasks to play and not a lot of content, I have found a lot of welcome additions and changes that make the game more enjoyable even as a solo player. Portions of the game that were basically unplayable when matchmaking seem as though they could be options to try again. I look forward to gearing up my loadouts with classified gear, trying out the new legendary missions, and getting a chance to test my mettle in the next global event. If you've been away from the game for a while or you've never bought the game, I strongly suggest you pick up at least the base game and give Division a try. This game is very different from what it began as and definitely worth a second look, or for new players, a first look. So thanks again for watching. For those of you that have been playing the game all along, what have I missed that I might be a reason for players to come back? And for those of you that haven't come back or haven't bought the game, what made you leave or not try the Division in the first place? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and maybe we can get a discussion going and reactivate some old agents and activate some new ones too. Finally, if you haven't already, click the blue puppet to subscribe and remember to ring the bell to get notifications when I post new content.